Today, the latest weapons, coupled with the fighting skill of the American soldier, stand ready, on the alert all over the world to defend this country, you, the American people, against aggression. This is The Big Picture, an official television report to the nation from the United States Army. Now, to show you part of the big picture, here is Sergeant Stewart Queen.
At Camp Irwin, in the vast Mojave Desert of Southern California, is located the Armored Combat Training Center. To this military installation, certain selected units are sent for an intensive 6-week course in tank firing and maneuvering. The men come here, usually, with only their basic training behind them. They leave as full-fledged tankers. To give you an idea of what it takes to make a tanker in our modern Army, we have recorded some of the highlights of this training cycle. Last summer, our big picture camera followed a typical trainee from the time he arrived at Camp Irwin until the day he finished the course. This is his story.
Dear Mom and Dad, boy, what a place. We arrived at Barstow at 9 a.m., 0900 hours, according to the Army's way of telling time. The day was bright and sunny, and you could see for miles in this clear desert air. We were loaded onto our buses right there at the station. Then we took off for Camp Irwin, about 35 miles away. It's a little hard to describe this country if you've never seen it. Certainly, it's not like anything you've ever seen in Kentucky. This is called the Mojave Desert, but it isn't really desert. There are quite a few bushes, mesquite and creosote bushes, and even a few Joshua trees. Coming over a hill, we caught our first sight of Bicycle Dry Lake. And off to the right, surrounded by a rim of low mountains, was Camp Irwin. Here at Camp Irwin is what they call the Armored Combat Training Center. The main job of the center is to train tank crews to fire and maneuver under conditions which they might expect to find in actual combat. Camp Irwin's great advantage as a training area is its size. The 750,000-acre firing range makes it possible for tanks to fire and maneuver without restriction. Our training started the day we arrived. As soon as we got settled in our barracks, we were marched off to the service club to listen to an orientation lecture given by the post commandant, Colonel Holmes. He told us something of the history of the camp, the weather, the things to see in the surrounding area, and, of course, the reason we were here. Then we were taken out to gunnery range number 3, where we were given sort of a preview of our next 6 weeks. We don't do much marching out here. They cart us around in open buses to save time. First, we heard a lecture by one of the instructors, telling us what sort of training to expect. And it sounded kind of rugged, I must say. Then, when they finished telling us what it would be like, they started showing us. We double-timed across to the firing range, where they had some bleachers set up. In front of the bleachers, they had a line of tanks. They wanted us to hear what a tank gun sounds like when it fires. But first, they gave us a demonstration of what not to do around a tank. They had these jokers pretending to be a tank crew, and the way they handled that ammo was a caution. I guess we can do better than those guys. Next, they started firing. And I want to tell you that high-velocity 90mm gun they have on these M48s really makes a noise. It sure is no firecracker. The next thing we had to do was learn something about these steel monsters we were going to live with for the next 6 weeks. We had to learn what made them go and what made them stop. We had to learn everything from checking the oil in the engine to checking the tracks and suspension system.